Good morning, everyone. I'm standing here up with the blossoms of one of our big apple trees that was here when we bought our homestead. And what I'm going to do is collect apple blossoms to make apple blossom jelly. You may not have known, but you can eat apple blossoms along with a lot of other flowers, and hopefully I'll share what those are throughout the year. Anyway, so apples are in the same family as roses, Rosaceae, and you can eat roses as well. The actual fruit of apples is similar to the rose hips that you get on roses after that hold the seed. And you can eat both, so there you go. Alright, so here are some blossoms. This middle one is called the king bloom. It's the largest bloom in the cluster, and then there will be smaller ones around the edge. Here's some more as an example. Alright, so what the tree does is sometimes they'll drop these side blooms. Oops. And then if they don't do that, the tree will, I think it ends up in June, they'll drop some of the smaller fruits, and that'll allow the larger fruits, which are usually this king flower, to grow bigger and have a better chance for the tree to reproduce. And so what I'll do, I'm going to collect these smaller blooms. I know they're not fully open. Some people collect them when they're fully open, but I'm also going to be drying some of them to make dried roses, dried rose petals for teas, and I'll use that during the year. In herbal tea, I can mix it with other things like mint. The rose tea is actually, I guess, good for complexion. The blooms of apples have a lot of antioxidants, so that can clears up your that clears up your complexion, and then it also eliminates free radicals in your body. So the blooms keep going up and up. I can't reach the ones way up there. This tree you're seeing first is a golden delicious, and then over here we have a stamen wine sap. So hopefully those are really good. So back to the tree. I'm just gonna stand here and collect. apple blossoms. The recipe calls for 2 cups, and this is a little bit more, I think, give or take. The extra I'll just dry for the tea, like I mentioned before. While I was picking my blossoms, it was a long process, about an hour. I was thinking, why would I pick all these? Wouldn't I want to keep the blossoms for fruit? And in most cases I'd say yes. If you have a smaller tree, yes, I would let the blossoms stay, turn into fruit if there's a June drop. That's the tree's prerogative, but we have such large trees that we honestly get hundreds of thousands of apples every year. And this was before we did some big pruning, but we still get loads and loads of apples from these giant trees. So, like I mentioned, to help the tree get larger fruit and get rid of, you know, the smaller ones and whatnot, pruning excess blossoms out really help. And it's to your advantage, because then you get to make apple jelly or dried apple bloom, not apple jelly, apple blossom jelly. Apple jelly is different. Okay, apple blossom jelly. And you also get to do dried apple blossoms for your tea. I also read you could candy them and put them on as a garnish, but I'm not doing that. So in a little bit, I'll go to my kitchen and show you how to make the apple blossom jelly. Alright, so I'm in my kitchen now, and the first thing we want to do is kind of make a tea out of these fresh apple blossoms. So for the recipe, you need 2 cups of blossoms and then 2 cups of boiling water. So I'm going to measure out my blossoms. I'm putting it into a 2-cup measuring cup. That's about 2 cups. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to, I'll set them in, put the apple blossoms into this quart jar. Okay. And then the last thing you will need is 2 cups of boiling water. So I'm going to measure that into the cup again. And then pour it, whoa, I'm not the best at pouring, pour it over the boiling, or the rose buds. I'm going to throw a little bit more in because I spilled. Alright, so it should look a little bit like that, and I'm going to just cover it up, and I will let that set overnight. So see you again tomorrow. The next thing you're going to want to do is strain the apple blossom buds and blossoms, all the chunky stuff, out from the liquid. And to do this, I'm using a fine mesh colander, and then I'm also using a coffee filter to really get out any other impurities. You can use muslin or cheesecloth as well, but I don't have that on hand, so I'm using the coffee filter. So you just pour it over the filter. I'm going to let it drain. And there you go. And I'll let it sit there for about an hour so all the liquid, all the juices drain out. Don't squeeze it because that will probably make your liquid cloudy, but in the end you get this beautiful golden honey colored apple blossom water. And I'll be using that for the apple jelly. I'll show you how to do that in a little while. Now that the apple blossoms have steeped, we can go ahead and make our jelly. So what you'll need is the apple blossom water, or sometimes called tea, and you'll need 2 cups of that. There should be that enough because you added the 2 cups to the apple blossoms. So unless you didn't let it sit long enough, you should have enough liquid. If you don't have enough, just add a little bit more water, but no more than a 1/2 cup. You'll need 4 cups of sugar. You'll need a 3-ounce packet of liquid pectin. If you have made your own liquid pectin from apple peels or crab apples in the past, go ahead and use that. I don't have a recipe for it up right now, but I will this fall. That's a skill I really want to get used or good at. And then finally you'll need a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Alright, on to the cooking. I added the 4 cups of sugar into my saucepan. I am going to add my 2 cups of apple blossom tea or water to the sugar, and then also the 1/4 cup of lemon juice. I'm just gonna stir that together initially. So it starts to dissolve. And then I'm going to be putting it over a medium heat and cook it to a roaring boil. So I'll wait for that and I'll be right back. We're officially at a roaring boil now, and a roaring boil is one that cannot be stirred down. So that's where we're at now. The next step is to pour the liquid pectin into your mixed sugar and apple blossom mixture, trying to get as much of it out of the packet as you can. It's hard to do with one hand. I don't have a tripod, so that would make it easier, but we're okay. Okay, you're going to want to stir that in. Really well. And adding that pectin to your sugar and apple blossom water mixture and stirring it will bring the temperature down a little bit. Okay, and so you're going to want to wait until it's back to a roaring boil. It won't take very long. Looks like we're about there. Once the roaring boil is back, you're going to want to time it for 1 minute. And that's going to make sure the pectin sets, well, get the reactions happen, and so it'll be able to set and thicken up. So I set a timer for 1 minute. I have 40 seconds left. How exciting. It has a really beautiful scent. It's like fall apples meet spring blossoms. It definitely smells like apples with an overtone of a floral scent. It's kind of really neat. So I'm really glad I tried it, and I hope you do too. Almost done. Okay. My timer went. I'm going to turn off, my stove and take it off the heat. Okay. So I'm going to take it over here. Before I pour any jam into the, or jelly into the jars, I'm just going to skim off the foam. You don't have to, but it'll give a prettier presentation in your jars. And that's what everyone does anyway, so why not make it look nice? And it's fairly easy to do. It really thickened up on the sides. So there you go, the foam, and then you can just spread that on a piece of bread or just eat it straight out of that bowl. And get a taste of the jelly to begin with before it's set. Alright, I'm using a ladle because I do not have a steady hand and I do not want to waste all my hard work. And then I'm also using a funnel. It's making this beautiful honey yellow colored jelly. I love it. It's something a little different. I feel like when you're making jellies and jams or you buy them at the store, all you really find are reds, pinks, or a dark purple. And I guess that's to be expected because that's the color of the fruits that we grow. So this yellow jelly is a fun treat to have. And also impress your friends and family. I'm sure they don't know that you can eat apple blossoms. Or even make jelly out of them. So that's really cool. I brought some violet jelly and peony jelly and rose jelly to my garden club one time. And that impressed them. So, and it's fun. And I feel like it's sort of an exotic treat. In reality, it's not too exotic because it's just coming from ordinary things that you already have in your garden or can easily find that people are used to, but using it in a different way. And so it just seems like a neat luxury treat or something. Alright, I just have a little bit left, and it's not going to fill this entire jar. So this one I will eat first. I will put it right in the fridge. You can already see that pectin the jelly thickening up from the pectin as it's hitting the cooler air outside. Okay. And then the last thing I'll do is add a lid. I already sanitized my jars and lids, so they were ready to go. So the lids are on, and I will screw on the rings. And you can either, once it's all secure, flip it over and have it seal that way. That's okay to do. Or you can put it in a hot water bath for 5 minutes. Oh, there you go. Beautiful apple blossom jelly. I hope you liked the video. Try it out yourself. Subscribe, like, and if you do try it, let me know how it went. I'd love to hear. Thanks for watching. Bye.